Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video. So, what am I installing? It's probably easier to show you. These are King's 500mm rear full drive drawers, whatever you want to call them. Adventure Kings had these for I think $79 on sale per actual drawer. So the reason I went with the Adventure Kings brand for these drawers, A, they make them small enough for my car, B, they make them small enough for my car. So I was going to go for 70cm drawers or the 700mm drawers. However, I've opted to go with the shorter ones as I can retain a little bit of the reclining movement with the very back seats, because at the moment they're pretty much sitting at a 90-degree angle and I can tell you it's not comfortable. To improve quality of life in the back seat for my passengers, I'm just going to go with the 50cm drawers. Anyway, let's jump into it. So, well, looks like I see instruction manuals in there. I'm going to quickly pop this on a bench and yeah, have a bit of a look into it. Okay. Oh, nice. Oh, cool. You actually have some fitting hardware, which is cool. Didn't know it would actually come with any of that. So, yeah, what have we got here? That's what those are, nylon bump stops. And obviously fitting hardware. So I'm going to have a quick read of this and yeah, clue myself into what exactly all this is for. Now I'm about to measure out between the eyelets that are actually the tie down strap bits, measuring between the bolt holes just so I can cut this to length. Then I can go from there into hopefully lining up some mounting holes for this. So I think I'm going to go 103 centimeters for the one that sits behind the actual seat. I'm going to go quickly cut this one here, line it up, and then I can start actually removing the eyelets, which is going to probably require me to actually cut the carpet, so that'll be fun. Alright, so I've come in with a pair of scissors here, just cut back the carpet. Hopefully you're actually able to see that. Now I'm going to remove the bolt for that. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. There's actually two. Alright. Don't go disappearing off in there. Tie down point removed. Those two screws. Now I've got two mounting holes there. What I'm going to do is do the same thing on the opposite side of the car and also do the ones up the back there. You've got to remove the actual top from the actual drawer, so then you're left with this. From that stage, you can go through and you've got these little bits there that are cut out so you can bolt it in. Right now I'm just getting these lined up where they are going to go, and I've just measured out about 5, almost pretty much half a meter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that fella in half and then run it up either side, and then cut the other one up, run two of them in the middle, and that should hopefully support all that. And then I'm going to have to get some L brackets to go from here down into that. Obviously I can just reuse these stock fasteners. I'm going to go cut those other two bits, get that all squared up, screw it into place, so at least then I've got a final sort of shape. I'm going to cut that in half and I'll jump back on when I've got it all screwed together, and then I'll put this on top and we can see where things are starting to line up. That is about how that's looking. It's not actually screwed in as of yet, but now I'm just going to go and get this. Going to try and align it on that, and that will sort of tell me where I've got to put those two. But once I get that figured out, I can then get that one, cut another two, so that way there'll be two almost like supports for either drawer. Alright, so about to go make my other two supports. So pretty much just lay them on here, line, cut that. Cut that. I've got two more of these fellas, which means I can then line them up underneath, and then hopefully then I should be able to box it all in. That there is looking about right. Got them all pretty much roughly lined up. The more important part is just getting them to actually be in those mounting areas. It's just all about that, getting all of this marked up on that back plank, and then I can worry about the particulars. Okay, so got it mocked up, something a bit like that. I'm still going to do a little bit of sort of tweaking where everything sits, and this front bit of wood isn't actually attached to anything yet. But I think I'm still going to have to come up just a little bit. may not look like it, but the drawers kind of hit the corners down there, so yeah, I'll have to figure that out. I can probably just raise the height of it a little bit, which isn't, you know, going to be that hard. I'll just screw some planks onto the bottom. But I'm just going to quickly put the drawers back in and see if I can get them to both open at the same time. And then, if it does, I'm going to start marking out the bolt locations, screw locations for all those. And then start, yeah, doing the same thing on the inside. Forgive the jankness of this, but I've just got all these scrap bits, all the offcuts that I had. Just put them in here so I can figure out height-wise where I have to be to have the actual drawers open without doing, well, damage to that, but also so I don't actually have to cut the plastic. This definitely isn't going to be permanent. I'm going to go get a couple more of these planks and I'm just going to just lay them pretty much across as they are, but just one big piece. So this should definitely make it a bit easier for me to figure out going. So I'm going to get back to sort of situating all this. Going to start marking stuff and we'll pick it up when I've got pretty much everything mostly mocked up. Apparently it's still not high enough, but with two bits of wood only under the front. So yeah, I am most definitely gonna have to go and get anyway, I'm gonna go to Bunnings and pick up a few more bits of wood. I'm gonna try and get some wider stuff. It's gonna have to go up probably another 3/4 of an inch, maybe. So depending on what Bunnings has available, I'm gonna see if I can get something thicker. If I can get just a little bit more out of that, it'll be essentially like perfect. So there is just enough room between the two to actually still open both drawers at once with the door open. So I run out of wood and I am also gonna have to chase up some brackets. That'll be another thing for Bunnings tomorrow. Get some L brackets, get some more wood, and yeah, tomorrow if Bunnings is open, then I'll go down and grab some bits and pieces. Alrighty, so gone down to Bunnings, got myself some more planks of wood. In the meantime, I've actually gone and mounted the actual frame. Also gone around and put some like gussets or, I don't know, reinforcements or something in there. It's a little bit dodgy, my workmanship anyway. More importantly, it doesn't, well, fall apart, so hopefully it should be good. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab some of these, measure them out, and pretty much get a sort of two of them running side by side to do the front and back mounts for the actual drawers. This install is getting pretty close now, I think. I'm going to chuck this back on the tripod. I'm going to grab my jigsaw and I'm going to measure out, just double check the widths of both of these, and then from there I can actually cut them, get them laid on there, and then chuck the drawers in and see exactly where I've got to put them. Alright, now that I got those sort of mocked up, I'm going to go grab the drawers and put them in there and see exactly where I've actually got to mount this. After messing around with that, try and get it aligned as best as possible. That is essentially how that's actually going to sit. Now I'm going to just put the drawers in for the moment. That way I can just double check that this is going to be high enough so that the drawers clearance this little corner bit. So quickly chuck those in. Yeah, we'll see if hopefully my calculations are indeed correct. That appears to be mission successful. Well, I'm going to remove drawers back out of here, then drill and install these the planks that I've run across. Once those planks are mounted to the frame, then I can start doing the actual mounting of the drawers. Got all that screwed in. Just decided to do it while it was still in the car. That way the frame is pretty much as true as it can be to the car. So I'm going to take this out and start refining some bits on it. Got all of that mounted. I've also cut out a bit just for this. I'm going to actually put some hinges on it so I can open it up and I can still then use the little factory pocket underneath. Now I'm going to have to mark out where these drawers go, drill the holes. The included bolts are way too long, so instead I'm going to use these ones, my own ones, which are same thread pitch, thankfully, so I can use the washers and the hardware and stuff out of that. Got those mounted. I've just used some, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but got these little square like mounting like, I don't know, tab things. Yeah, got all this in. I'm still reading through the instructions, but I don't know how they expect us to mount the front of this, because it's just kind of floating around, so I don't know, I might have to put a few soft tappers in or something, but I'll give that instruction manual another look over. Got these hard mounted now. Just went and put a few of these little, I don't even know what you'd call them, little self-tapper fence screws or whatever they are. They work pretty well. Now I've just got to tighten up those back bolts. Don't mind that. That was just how I was keeping my spacing between the two when I was screwing them in. I got these all mounted up. Even cut myself a little sort of insert here to still use the pocket storage underneath there. I am going to go get some hinges for it, and I'll either wrap it in marine carpet or just paint it black. Yeah, put some hinges on it, put a handle on there, that way I still get to use that. So I've installed the little bump stops on the drawers. So the drawers now shut pretty nice, and they also stop when they come out. Now all we're going to do is pop the tops back on these. I'm going to go around and do a bolt check, as all those little Allen keys were loose. Well, that is the install completed now. Pretty happy with how it looks. Obviously it's nothing fancy by any means, but for me, who has you know, minimal fabrication skills and minimal woodworking skills, didn't do too bad, I don't think. I was actually pretty happy that I could use the factory bolt holes in the floor where the factory tie down points were, because now I know that it's actually bolted to something. I've used probably, what is that, 2 or 3 mil thick steel plate on the front, and then some like 1.5 mil on the back. The back is just to stop the drawers from tilting upwards. But yeah, the front mounts only take lateral force, they don't actually support anything. I was pretty lucky that in the back of the Vitara there's actually a little part of the floor that comes down a little bit, and that's where I've run the sides of that timber. So it pretty much locks itself into the floor, but it's actually sitting on the floor, so the actual mounts aren't really taking any load at all. I wanted it that way so that, you know, the wood wouldn't split. Because yeah, I've obviously had to drill 2 sizable holes through there. That's obviously going to weaken that part of the wood. But yeah, so pretty happy with it overall. A little bit annoyed with the fact that I had to space them up as high as I did, but that's nothing to do with the drawers. That's all to do with the boot of the car. Got a few things in the drawers already. None of this is sort of permanent yet, but got my snatch strap, recovery rope, I got my little tow bar hitch, got some ratchet straps, and underneath that is some zip ties, and underneath that is bow shackles, a whole bunch of those, different size ones, and then in here got the air compressor and the air compressor hose and a little packet of bits and pieces. But alright, so just thought I would do a little weekly sort of update since all of this was for the most part finished. Drawers are still going good. I ended up actually swapping these little tie downs around the other way so that I could actually tie my fridge down to the top of these, as when they were pointing like that, the fridge was actually just a little bit too wide to sit between them, so flipping them around that way helps, because I can just flip it up that way. That way it's pretty much almost as wide as a fridge, so it works out quite well. Drawers, not really anything to complain about. Like, there's a little bit of, you know, shaky movements in them, but these are budget drawers, so can't really fault them in that regard. Yeah, not really much to complain about when it comes to the drawers. They don't really make any noise, they don't really shake or move or anything like that, and the actual pine frame that I put together seems to be holding up. I don't see it moving or anything like that. That's always good. But I have actually gone around and filled in some holes that I drilled that were nowhere near where they needed to be. Filled those in, and then I also got that plank that I was sitting in here. Got that, went and got some little tiny, like, I think they're cabinet hinges, and then I got this little like pull little pull ring style sort of handle bit. Yeah, so now I've got a functional little trap door that goes down into the boot floor storage, so that's pretty good. I've actually got some Velcro on there so that when I pull this up, push that little ring thing back in and it sticks to the marine carpet on the drawers, so pretty good. Means I can still get, you know, some stuff under here. Actually looking to put a lithium battery down there if I can find one that fits. Pretty much got some felt tape, put it to the bottom of that way the wood doesn't wear into the carpet, but it also doesn't make noise, especially on that plastic. Not too bad really. There's two hinges, one of these little flush mounted handles, a couple bits of Velcro, and yeah, they just stick to the drawers, so that way it actually stays up. If I have a photo, I'll actually chuck it up on the screen, but this drawer setup works really well with the Brass Monkey 22 litre fridge. It pretty much sits between these here all the way to there, and then I've still got this little bit of room here for my power station and whatever else I could chuck on there. Anyway, I just want to thank everyone who stayed around to the end of the video. Greatly appreciate that. And yeah, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Till the next video, I'll catch you later.